Well, Sam, I mean, we want to hear your ideas too. We're basically right around the time where we should move on to a new idea. What do you have cooking up? Like, what's going on?
Okay, well, so seeing as someone, okay, I'll give you a basic breakdown. My title at work, I'm a content creator. So a lot of
And
my
where do you
job,
work?
I work for the kitchen North America. It's like the in-house agency of a craft house. So I'm a content creator there. And essentially, my job, kind of the umbrella term as content creator, is I just need to know what's trending in social media. I need to act on it quickly to make sure that we're making contents that our brand is like keeping up in trends and staying reactive and also like proactive, like bigger campaigns and whatnot. But a lot of what I need to do is make sure I'm on top of socials. So my ideas coming into this are related to social content. So the one that I have is like for TikTok or Instagram kind of videos is to remake very popular sketches or movie scenes. Um, and this is something that I've actually been meaning to do, but like very popular movie scenes, like, there's like in The Great Gatsby when Gatsby, like his cheers, like that, like scenes that everybody remembers and like you can recognize, just like very recognizable scenes and sketches, recreating those for social platforms, but not like kind of just getting the whole like premise of the scene, but like literally scene by scene, like take by take. So social media has made it so easy for people to make videos that just go viral like overnight like that. Every day there's like a new influencer. So the only problem is that because there are so many influencers making their own content, it's hard to like stand out in a sense. Especially when you like need to get established, trying to get from the ground up. That's something that I had struggled with, something that like some of my friends who are trying to be content creators, influencers are struggling with. So, a lot of times people don't necessarily care about what a stranger is making. And I've noticed this trend a few years ago was if you're making stuff that is already recognizable, it becomes a trend. Like there was a trend a while back where it was quick, like movie cut scenes that people were recreating, like kind of just the lines and a little bit of the action as well. And they were like quick snippets and the trend just blew up. And I think like, for Instagram and for TikTok, that's really good to make the short stuff. Obviously that stuff is going to do really well. But I think there's also an appeal for like longer form content eventually to make its way to TikTok and Instagram. A lot of my friends are making campaigns for their clothing or, putting full blown shorts on Instagram. So I think there is an appeal for that longer form content to be on there. And I think that this is a way to kind of make your mark and enter that seed a bit, is to recreate things that have already been done, but perfecting it in a sense. Like, the scene, the sketch from SNL where it's like need more cowbell. It's that Will Ferrell scene. If you can, like something that people remember, if you recreate that, and I mean like get in the studio and like have the drums there and have the cowbell and stuff like that will get noticed. Like, oh my God, they recreated that SNL sketch. And then, once you kind of have a good chunk of videos under your belt, and I've seen this with a lot of creators, it'll start to get like celebrity attention. And some celebrities like will want to be a part of those videos. There was one guy on TikTok, his name is Johnny Valentine, and his format for his videos are the same. Every single video is the exact same thing he does. But now he's like, like King Batch from Vine, like one of the most recognizable Viners. Now he's in some of these videos. And like other like Viners who used to be in the spotlight are coming into these videos. So like once someone gains traction, there is the appetite for people who used to like be in the spotlight, like King Bash and like Vine people, to kind of come and want to be back in it. And that's why I've noticed with this guy on TikTok. But there are so many ways you can like establish yourself on socials and start to like make a name for yourself. But one thing that personally I think would do very well is if you can like recreate these scenes that are already highly popularized, but just like do it like the exact same way kind of thing. So I hope that made sense. And I hope that my first viral ideas podcast is a good idea.
That, Sam. I feel like that was a Mona Lisa.
Dude,
that was a Mona Lisa idea. just the idea of the infinite possibilities with applying this idea to different audiences and different creators, because you could also go pretty crazy with like just the types of creators that are doing this adds to it, because like the meme potential is insane when you consider like just juxtaposition and what crazy things can happen there. I feel like juxtaposition of movies and reality is probably what drives like 60% of memes on the internet. Well, yeah, I think I like that. And also just the idea of there being a trend on the internet of just reproducing movies scene for scene, gradually, but just like you're just like, yeah guys, like next scene drops maybe like next week or something like that.
Yeah.
And then and just gradually do it. So then it's the type of thing that one person could just start doing, like just start making the content. Pick a movie that you could sort of just make yourself with your own phone and just sort of reenact it scene by scene until you get to the very end of it. And by the end of it, I wonder how many followers you will have. It would probably be a lot more than you started out with.
Yeah. People would like respect, like one thing I've noticed on socials is people respect the dedication that someone has to their content. Like I don't think people realize how much these creators are like posting. Like a lot of creators are posting 2-3 times a day, every day. And some people actually realize that, and they have like a certain amount of respect for that creator and automatically just follow because of that and then stay invested.
Yeah, true.
So man, imagine, like part 95 of recreating Inception from scratch. Like you'll have some people stick around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to the people that think this entire content style is just like copying, I would just like ask them, why are cover artists a thing? If like they're just like saying the same song from like another artist, like why don't you just like listen to the original artist? And you're like, no, you're respecting the fact that like this other indie musician, they're taking the effort into like creating their version, but like still using the craft that's like dedicated into it in that art form. But like this is just like the cover artist version of like sketch movie scenes remakes on in terms of like content creation. And you guys remember those like Dragon Ball Z or like Naruto abridged anime series on YouTube where it's just like someone else dubs themselves on like what their interpretation of the scene is? Like totally that's like unrelated to the story. It's like a whole YouTube series. It was like Dragon Ball abridged, and then it was just like funny with like kind of dirty humor, but then like they made it entertaining where like these scenes are just like dubbed over with their interpretations of like, oh yeah, and then my mama said no, don't go after him, Naruto. Just like stuff like that. To a level, they're copying that content, but like they're creating their new iteration of that original content, but like they're remixing it, which is like in itself another type of craft or like an entertaining craft. There's been like other movies. I think like the movie 300, there was like a couple parody movies that came out of the movie theaters after that I remember watching. And it's just like interesting that it's like a whole entire behavior that happens where it's just like, this isn't that different.
Yeah. And speaking like parody movies, that's one of my favorite genres of movie is parody movies. So I want to touch on something that Justin in previous episode was that like, the impact that nostalgia has and how like nostalgia sells basically. So like you look at parody movies, it's like a way of showing love to, whatever. Like you look at the Scary Movie series, they're making fun of, horror movies and whatnot, but very like recognizable horror movies that people love. It's almost like a sign of appreciation in that sense. And like tapping into that nostalgia feel of it as well, because I find you rewatch movies, and sometimes you almost hope that it's going to be different in a sense, but you know exactly what's going to happen. It's not going to be different at all, But then, like, looking at those parody movies is like a funny take on that and stuff. So yeah, I didn't have a conclusion. That was it.
Imagine just something like a deep movie, something intense, like, I don't know, Shawshank Redemption or Interstellar, but it's just all reenacted by like Jimmy Tatro and his crew. I think anybody would watch that. I would have to see it. I would honestly probably watch anybody do a reenactment of it. Like, if someone really did take the time to piece by piece put together Shawshank Redemption or Interstellar or whatever, like, one of those movies are for you, I think that if it's not something that if I don't find out about it initially, when I do find out about it, I would definitely be following it, especially just seeing the prompt of, this continual engine of, I am making this movie piece by piece until it's finished. But yeah, that's a great idea, Sam.